Okay. Okay, we're live. Listen, welcome everyone, and thanks for attending this webinar on artificial intelligence and applications for investor relations. My name is Tom Samuelson. I am one of the co-founders of REAP. I'm joined today by my two other co-founders, Matt Costa and Gustavo Chelinsky, who's behind the scenes running everything. So Matt and I, we're going to do a little presentation, and then we're going to do a live demo. First, I'd like to thank INARI, the IR Society in Mexico, which really helped organize and helped organize this event. A special thanks to Max and Francisco for their continued support for my efforts and really believing in what we're doing. So thanks again, Max and Francisco. So I think this is really timely. AI has been in the news in a big way this week. There's a lot of talk about DeepSeek from China, the future of AI, what's happening, the dangers of AI, and I think this movement of the Chinese into these large models is a turning point because the last 2 years we see an explosion in these tools and basically, we believe this is going to be the next phase of AI, from these amazing platforms that we're seeing today, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and now DeepSeek, and to now the creation of practical tools, right? Tools and products that you can use, things like AI agents, which can be used in businesses. So we had to build these platforms in order to get to where we are today. So this is really what we're going to talk about, some specific tools for the next 30 minutes or so. I just want to encourage everyone to ask questions. There's a comment and question thing to the right. Just feel free to pump in questions at any time during this webinar in that comment section, and we'll get to everything after the presentation. So let's begin with our little presentation. So again, welcome everyone to this conversation about tools, specifically about investor relations. What REAP? Let's talk a little about REAP today. REAP was created to create to really create tools and help issuers and to empower these kind of investor connections. And the key to everything is Matt and Gus, who have been programming and working with AI for 5 years. To me, that makes them experts because AI is really a very new thing. But we've really have created really advanced tools, and I think you're going to see some of the features that we've created that are going to really make this what we call the future of investor relations and in a revolutionary style. So we're using real cutting edge technology and AI that you're going to see. And we really believe that our platform can help any company, no matter what size, bridge this gap, bring innovation, and help get better investor engagement and improve whether you want to improve volume, whether you want to improve more engagement. I think these tools are going to really help. So just briefly, some of you may know I had a company called Braun, which was a data aggregation company. We merged last year. Braun and REAP. REAP is based in Asia, in Oceania, in New Zealand specifically. And so the strength we have is we have, on one hand, my background as an investor. So I bring this understanding of the financial ecosystem, especially the relationship between investors and issuers. And Matt and Gus bring their company brings this power technology, this advanced technology and understanding, which I think you're going to see is pretty interesting. So going into, I think what everyone in this audience realizes, that we have a challenging environment for investor relations. People remember back before the pandemic, the regulation of MiFID II, the advancement of technologies of electronic trading have really changed the universe. And what they've really done is damaged the traditional middleman, which is the investment banks. Just this week, not that they're a powerhouse, but HSBC, which is legitimately one of the largest banks in the world, pretty much pulled out of capital market. They just closed everything down. And this is happening. And so now what you have today is a real small amount of banks in the U.S. You have the Goldman Sachs, the Morgan Stanleys, et cetera, along with, let's say, UBS. It's a very concentrated environment, and they're focused on a very small sliver of the corporate universe, right? The large companies. So what we say is that because of this and because of the continued shrinking of that business model, right? There's no commissions for trading, the IPO market. You guys in Mexico know better than anybody how bad the IPO market is. These banks are shrinking. And so therefore they're not giving the services that they used to help you, help your storytelling, help your engagement with investors. That's pretty much going away. And then you have the degrading of investment research, which obviously was an important part of the storytelling. Investors, because of the regulations, don't want to pay for it. Therefore, the investment banks have sort of juniorized and the quality of investment research has gone down dramatically. And then finally, all of this adds up to challenges for engagement with investors, which obviously this is a big reason that I think hopefully all of you are on the webinar today. So we're going to talk about a few different tools. The first two tools are some things you can use today. They're pretty cool tools. And then we're going to spend most of the time on Reap. So these tools are we'll talk about making presentations efficiently and quickly, creating data visualization, and obviously, again, Reap will be concentrating on this front-facing model with investors and IR assistant. So first, we talk about Gamma. Gamma is a really cool AI tool that allows you to make presentations from almost anything. You can make a presentation from a sentence, a half a page on a Word document, a URL from your website, a PDF, a one-page, a two-page PDF. And we'll show you how this is being done. This is a practical example. One of our customers, Technoglass, all we did was input a URL from their earnings announcement for the third quarter. And then literally within less than a minute, the Gamma created a very rich presentation that you can edit, right? So I'm not going to go through all the slides, just show you these are actual slides that Gamma produced just from a URL. So pretty interesting. And I think it's a really good tool. So Gamma is one you should take a look at. The next one is Flourish, which can take pure data from a spreadsheet and create incredible data visualizations. Again, very quick, very easy to use. So again, you choose a template. You can do line graphs, donuts, bars, anything you want, even more dramatic 3D. You pick what you want to do. You input the data let's say from an Excel spreadsheet, and the output is pretty incredible. Within seconds, you have this rich output of data visualization. So Flourish is something that I would all encourage you to take a look at, because I think it could really help you. Oh, okay, so now we're going to go into Reap. This is what we're here about. So Reap, again, we call it the Investor Relations Assistant, there to help you manage these connections with investors. This is what it was connected. So one of the cool things about Reap, I just want to mention, it's not a chat bot. It's not a boring FAQ. This is a really dynamic artificial intelligence agent that can help make 24/7 make connections with investors. So instant responses. The most complex or the most simple questions can be answered by your own AI agent. And I want to mention that when we talk about personalization, we customize every AI for each customer. So this is not a blank sort of a general AI for, let's say, the Mexican market or the Brazilian market or Malaysia. This is every AI we create is customized for each company by containerizing information. I'm going to have Matt during the demonstration explain to you how we create these AIs and why they're compliant and why they're safe. But so I'll go into that later. So again, the information we're not taking from the internet. We're taking the information, your information, we're consolidating it, we're categorizing it, and we're making it easy to use by any investor, any user that wants to understand your company better. And the process is 100% automated. You don't have to do anything. We do the initial work. The AI does the work over time, and Matt will explain that later. But again, this is it's kind of a solution, a turnkey solution where we set it up, and because it's, again, the advanced technology, it runs by itself. So this is a multi-channel system. Our artificial intelligence information is available. Here's a screenshots of our app. I'm going to just open this up a little bit. I'm not disappearing so you can see it better. This is what our app looks like. It's a free app, free download on the Apple Store and Google Play live. You can see there's some basic information. And by the way, just to point out that when you download this app from Mexico, it comes all in Spanish. When you download from Brazil, it's in Portuguese. So it's multi-language, meaning everything is in the local language. So investors can look at this. There's news feeds. And then obviously we have the AI button, which we'll go into in more detail with a demonstration. So that's one way to access the app through the app itself. Sorry, the AI through the app itself and to the website. And I just want to mention, we'll go into this in more detail later. This is one of the recent features we've created within the app and the website, is this ability now for the AI itself to take, as it ingests your press releases, you're going to have in each press release an AI agent or an IR agent, IR assistant, that will be able to answer questions for your investors on each press release. So every press release will have its own AI agent to summarize, to educate, to explain in more detail every single every single piece of news that comes out. So this is a really powerful tool that we just rolled out. And so every company in our app, premium company, will have this, will every single media release or press release, financial, will have an AI agent attached to it. So that's pretty, and then, but that's specific to that specific release. So we'll give and then we have the multi-channel system, WhatsApp. So again, we are going to give you the opportunity to have a customized, secure AI channel on WhatsApp. So this will be a customized channel for your company, IR, XYZ. In this case, it's Vital, one of our customers. This is a customized, so your investors, your consultants, whoever's using, wants to find out about your company. And we know how powerful and how useful WhatsApp is around the world, except in the US. But people can now have and access your WhatsApp channel, customized WhatsApp channel, to ask questions about your company. So again, we're taking this multi-channel system. And then we're going to show, again, in the demonstration, we're going to give, every company has the ability to put the AI agent on their IR website. That's obviously very powerful. Matt's going to give a demonstration in a couple of minutes here. Again, I'm going to promo Max here. This is Grupo Hoteleria. So they have the, just as an example, they have the IR or the IR agent widget on their website. You can go into, if you want to do right now, you can go into their IR website in both the English and Spanish version and access the IR agent right on the website. And so you can, you don't have to speak to Max if you don't want to. And now you can just ask questions through the AI. So that's a very powerful. And then Matt's going to go through this in general. We also, whether you're accessing the AI through the app, through the website, through the WhatsApp, through the IR website, you're always going to have the sources of information. This is really important from a compliance standpoint. Matt's going to go into more detail later, but we want to make sure that you, first of all, your company is very confident that this information is not being taken from some website, from some third-party news. It's coming from your information, and that your investors, as they access information, will be comfortable that it's not misinformation, it's information coming from you. They don't have to keep fact checking it, etc. So again, to summarize before the demo, REAP, we're really trying to transform the landscape of investor relations to help you make better connections, whether it's making better connections with investors based in foreign investors and professional investors in New York, London, the UAE is one thing Matt's going to show. But our AI can answer in many languages. So whether your investor is based in Germany, they can ask in German, in Portuguese, in Brazil, in Arabic. We've tested in Mandarin. So wherever your investors are, they can ask in their native language, and the output will be in their native language. So This is a real incredible tool that we think can boost the engagement by investors through this kind of unique communication portal. And then the whole idea of education. We want, like, everyone wants their investors to understand their company better, and this AI agent can definitely solve the problems 24/7. So you don't have to be around. You can have your investors can ask questions at any time, and we think this is a real great tool to sort of educate and democratize this idea of understanding companies. And then the efficiencies come. You can, as you can see, it can free you up to focus on strategic things. Maybe you want to focus on your top 5 investors and really get. So this is a real great tool for saving money, optimizing efficiency, as you're going to see. So now I'm going to turn it over to Matt, and let me just bring up the page here, and Matt's going to run through a live demo. Let's go back to where we can see Matt. Okay, there you go, Matt. And so now Matt will take over, and but while he's showing, he'll explain, and then I'll interject here and there. So Matt, let's start again. We're going to use our friend Max's company as the guinea pig. Max, Santa Fe, Grupo Hotelier Santa Fe. So I'll hand it over to Matt.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. So as Tom mentioned, we have here an IR website with a widget button. So that's the Reap AI embedded into an IR website as another channel to provide for people to ask questions and interact with your company. Just to highlight, these IR assistant, it works on your behalf, right? It's here to sell your story. So it's speaking your language, and it's here to represent your company. So it's not going to be giving general insights or even being too critical on your data. It will try to always behave as an IR person for your company. So if I click that button down the bottom, for me it's in English because my browser is in English. I speak Portuguese. My Spanish is not great. I'll be copying and pasting some messages here, but if my browser was in Portuguese or in Spanish, even the buttons would be translated to that language. The idea is that any user, any visitor, any investor, anyone interested in your company can come in here and start asking questions. So I'm gonna get a question that I prepared before the meeting here and ask the AI. The question here in my Portuguese translation is like, why should I invest into the group, right? So I'm gonna send that question, that inquiry, and you see, like, even the colors reflect the Santa Fe group color and branding, and we'll get a response. So what's doing here? I'm gonna explain a little bit as well why it took a little bit long. Questions that are quite open-ended questions, like why should I invest, or tell me about the company's strategy, things that are very broad. What we actually doing behind the scenes is we're scanning a lot of different documents, and we're going through a lot of different reports and meeting transcriptions and any official information from the company. And there are some reports here of, there could be hundreds of pages, right? So if it's an open-ended question, it will take a little long, but what you get what you get back is a very powerful response. So you see here, you have a list of different points of why you should invest, a few different reasons. Again, the AI is trying to sell on your behalf and say, hey, here are the great things about our group. Talks about if I'm going to try to translate from my Portuguese here, talks about the leadership in the industry, right? The growth strategy, the diversification of services, the commitment to quality, and so on. So it gives a really good, again, official response. If I were to go into sources and click into any of these reports, you would get exactly the snippets of text that the AI used to provide those answers, to talk about the commitment to quality, to the diversification of services. So very elaborated, very powerful. I could ask for a shorter version if I wanted to. I could ask for specific questions on how is the company committed to quality, and again, it would give me a very good response to that specific question. Now, if I were to ask a question, I'll just change the language. I'm going to ask it in English to show you that you can answer in English as well. but I'm going to ask a different type of question. The question this time is, how are the management of the group aligned with the shareholders of the group? So I'm going to send that question. Again, slightly open-ended questions. It might take a little bit of time, but for us, it's also important that we not only use official sources, but that the response is rich, right? It's not just a cheap generic response. So we prefer to take a little bit longer and give you a better quality answer. So now the answer is in English, the same language that I asked, and it talks about the long-term compensation tied to performance, the focus on profitability and dividend distribution, experience and expertise, succession planning, and so on. As always, the sources are there. You can go straight into one of those documents. We're working on showing you the exact page on each document. So if you don't want to read the whole document, we tell, hey, on page 500 or page 27 of this report, that's where the answer is coming from.
Matt, talk a little bit about,
Mhm.
and we've had questions in the past on the questions of how this information comes in. Do we go to the internet, or can you explain our process of how we ingest the information, how the AI absorbs it, and then how it creates this output? That would be really interesting for people.
Yeah, of course. So we do not go into news and articles online. We don't consult the internet. This is a kind of contained scope. Like, we only train on official data. This AI only has access to official data. It will not try to create answers. It will not try to use sources that are not official documents from the company. So we actually built a few different systems in here to deliver this, and that's why Thomas was saying it's not just a chat bot, it's not just a Q&A. We built an entire system to monitor for new announcements or releases from the company on the company website or any other official sources. In New Zealand, for example, we have a partnership with the stock exchange. So whenever something goes into the stock exchange, we have our system to detect that change or monitor anything new coming up. And then we run our own custom process to understand those documents, categorize those documents, break each page, classify each page, and understand all the content there. With other companies, we have systems that monitor their own website. So if you make a release to your website with a new report, we automatically pick that up. We automatically ingest or consume all that information, automatically teach and train the AI on that document within minutes. So if something goes into your website within minutes, the AI should now be aware of that source of information. So any questions asked, we'll reference that document and we'll use the document to provide an answer. So that keeps it official, that keeps it safe, that keeps it compliant. Information is public. The beauty of a solution like this is that now your investors or people interested in your company don't need to go through the entire report and find on page 37 the information that they're interested in.
Great.
I see a question here. Maybe I can just touch on that right
Yeah,
now because it's
please.
very related. In regards to audios and transcripts. So if a lot of companies that we work with have transcripts created and uploaded. So if that happens, it's very easy, very automated. We just get the transcript, we teach the AI on the transcripts, and then we use the transcription to answer questions. If you don't provide a transcript on the audio or video, we can do it already, and we already do for customers today. We are continuously improving the system. We want to get to a point, and we'll get to that point very soon, where if you upload an audio or a video, we automatically detect that's a video and audio. We create the transcript behind the scenes, and then within minutes, again, it goes into the website. So we do it today. We're working to make it even faster and more automated than currently is.
Yeah, I think that's that's a really important question, and also one of the important aspects is that one of the things Matt didn't mention, and I'll mention it now, is that for every company that comes on that wants this AI, and hopefully more companies, and
Yeah.
every company wants it, um, we give them a question, a Q&A that we have gotten from, let's say, a number of investors. We talked to people at Fidelity, BlackRock, others around in Europe, and these are high end, high level questions that you would get, let's say, at a one-on-one at an investment conference. Those 60 plus questions, when they're entered into the system with the answers, it really takes the AI in terms of its knowledge and ability to add to another level. And then as you take the Q&A from every quarterly release, right? Every quarter you guys have a conference call, and we take those that Q&A as we build, right? And again, this is done automatically. You don't have to do anything. As we build that base, the AI gets smarter and smarter, and it becomes something that really is a really powerful tool. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Well, one thing I would like to highlight here as well, that I think is very interesting and powerful about having a tool that's available to everyone like this. Um, as as we showed, there is a app. We have an app that works incredibly well. It sends push notifications on announcements. Your investors will get a push notification on their phone. We see a lot of movement in the app when you send an announcement. This is also automated. You release something on your website, we automatically send a push notification to the app for anyone following your company. But the benefit of having this also outside of the app, in the WhatsApp channel or on your website, no matter what the channel is, we have a full analytics system behind the scenes here that's categorizing the questions asked, and can give you a lot of insights into what people are asking. If there's a question where there is no reference or no information, the AI will not try to make that up. It will say, sorry, I don't have that information. Please consult the IR website or contact the AR team. But the beauty there is any question that the AI couldn't answer will go into our analytics system and will give you information about what people are looking for. Say some often, I don't know, 80% of the questions that couldn't get an answer was about this or about that. You now have that visibility. You now have that knowledge on how to improve your future releases, your future announcements, your future reports. So there's also a lot of value on the analytics, on the knowledge or insights of what the market's feeling, the type of questions they're asking, the things they are worried about, and then you can be proactive on answering or preparing for those topics.
No, that's really important, Matt. Thank you. And so, practical example, you get every month. Let's say you last month you get 100 questions, and we will give you the analytics on. Then you could see what investors are interested in. Because when we talk about things like investor targeting, which is a word that's thrown out a lot, it's hard to target investors if you don't know what they're interested in. So having this AI agent and having the analytics can really help you on the targeting front, and you can see what people are really asking, what they're interested in. And then obviously if there's something, as Matt said, that can't be answered, you have the answer. It could be ingested into the AI very, very easily. One thing I think that we are developing, and it's coming very soon, is the ability, since we are doing most of that or all of that work for you, we do have the option, if you want to add some further information or a special document that you want to be made public. Again, because the app is free, it satisfies all the full disclosure of every country. You'll be able to go into your dashboard, which you can see analytics, but also you'll be able to upload documents as well into the system. So the system will obviously automatically upload all your regular documents. But if there's something extra that you want to make clear, maybe because of misinformation by a broker or some bad news, it could be addressed very quickly and very efficiently. And then obviously investors can access it through the website, through the WhatsApp, through the app. So very, very important. Yeah. Okay, Matt. So what I'm going to do, I think one of the features I think I mentioned, I just want to show a quick video, is the new feature we launched with the on the AI in each press release. So Matt, if you're good, I'm going to switch now to the video
Yes.
real quick here, and then we have another question. So let's play the video, and then we'll answer that last question on the analytics. So again, here's a video. This is just a short video of our summary. So you see our app, where you can go in, follow companies, check out information. Then you have the news feed. These are press releases. And then as you can see at the bottom of each press release, you're going to have an AI that's going to be able to summarize and help your investors understand your releases in a better format. We all know that we'd like to say everyone reads our press releases, but we know they don't. But with this AI capabilities within every press release, I think it's going to help educate your investors and help them engage with your company. One last thing I want to mention, and I think it's from a macro standpoint. You notice all these tools; they're all kind of tools that are new. They're new tools. They're developed to help people get more active. And if we look at what has happened over the last 4 or 5 years, especially since the pandemic, we've seen a massive amount of new investors come into the market. In Mexico, all you need to go is ask GBM. They opened 1 million new accounts in the first 12 months of the pandemic. So you've got this group of retail investors, individual investors coming into the marketplace. They are younger people, and they're not talking to the Merrill Lynch's, Goldman Sachs. They're even local. They want to trade on their own, and this is why these large language models are so popular. So they're the ones that really will they really like this whole idea of understanding the companies on their own, and then obviously the large investors are always looking to get things instantaneously. So you don't lose an email in a spam. They could just go here, and we think when you have these AI fully loaded, we could answer 85% of the questions that a sophisticated investor would ask. So it's a really powerful tool that we think can really help everyone here. So let's go to our next question here, Rolando. In that specific issue, what is an example of the analytics and interactions from the widget on the website and from WhatsApp bot that I would be receiving? So Matt, you want to handle that one?
Yeah, sure. Currently, most of our analytics is around the questions asked and the questions that could not be answered. So you would get a list of every single question asked through any one of those three channels, and you would also get a list of with the answers. So here are the questions and the answers given for a given month, and you would also get here are the questions that could not be answered as insight to create and generate more content that covers those things. We do have anonymized analytics on how many questions are being asked. That's something you could provide as well. We can work together easily to provide more analytics on how often are people asking questions or how many questions are being asked. You get that from the list of questions too. But that's our primary focus right now. It's on providing knowledge and insights into the questions themselves and the answers provided.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, so I'll just one last thing. If there's no more questions, one last thing I'm going to touch on is the security. You're welcome, Orlando. Security and compliance. I think, and people are very concerned about this, and why it wasn't easy to create this application. We had to spend a lot of time, starts and stops, and because we need to know, and we need to make sure that this information is containerized, that there are no leaks out into the web, because we want everyone, not only just you, we want your investors, we want even regulators, whoever it is, to feel confident that the information is coming from the company. We're not going to have a third party news. We're not going to have any brokerage reports. Though I guess if you have sponsored research, we could probably ingest that because that's coming from you. But outside of that, we want this to be unbiased, factual, and without any kind of misinformation, so that you're confident that your investors will understand your company. And okay, so let's another question.
Thomas, sorry, can I just add to that?
Yeah, please.
You briefly mentioned the merge between Braun and
Yeah.
Reap, which has been incredible for us, for both of us. I just wanted to kind of let people know that we have been operating in the New Zealand market for almost 7 years now. So as Thomas said, it wasn't easy to put together, but there's also 6 years and 8 months of kind of experience of providing this value to customers in New Zealand, creating this application. We've been working with this AI for more than a year now. So just to kind of add to that, we've been doing this for quite some time.
Okay, question here on Gamma and Flourish. These are They're not okay. So they're apps, but they're also websites. So you can go on the websites for both Flourish and Gamma and use the applications on the website. So it's not just mobile apps. Yeah. So there and Reap obviously is a mobile app, but also has a website and again you multi-channel WhatsApp, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So that's a good question. Next question: what are the sources for information related to non-company topics such as regulations and politics? Good question. I think the answer will be basically if I were to ask, for example, Max's company, if I were Grupo Hoteleria, if I were to ask them about the risk on politics or the risk of regulations, the AI would search through documents, and I am pretty sure that every company has touches on that over a number of years in end reports and presentations, and the AI would be able to come up with something of that nature. But if you're asking more about sort of, let's say, how would the Trump administration affect the company, that's something again that the company would have to provide. That's something that maybe the AI would be able to answer if there are sections that were addressed. But things like regulations and politics have to be. I was asked that question today at a presentation this morning about regulation, and as soon as right now, the worst thing you want is for somebody to ask about regulation and the AI to give an answer that's not correct. So right now, if it's a regulation that hasn't happened, the AI is not going to answer. If it's a regulation that has already happened in the past, and the company has mentioned it, the AI will be able to ask that question, both on the regulation side and if the company talked about politics. But these are smart tools, so they kind of understand, different risk, especially macro risk. So that's a good question. And again, you'll get out what we put in. Don't worry, Leno. Good question. I assume that WhatsApp, another question, might provide geolocation data for users accessing it. Is that correct? On the other hand, I guess website analytics wouldn't be available since you don't have access to them. So I'm going to let Matt talk about the geolocation aspect of WhatsApp because I don't want to say
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that's not
So
correct. That's very sensitive.
the WhatsApp implementation is something that's in alpha or beta right now. So we're testing with it, and it's working. We haven't released. We haven't dealt with geolocation yet, so I can't quite answer because it's not something we are currently accessing or trying to access. We need to think about the implications of doing it and then kind of figuring out how it would work. So I'm not sure on that one. For the website analytics, yes, we don't have or track any data on your website. So the AI wouldn't answer anything on your website analytics or events, and we also wouldn't have access to those things.
The WhatsApp is in beta, but it's will be ready by, I would say, next week. We're ready to roll. We took our time with
Yes.
it, and so that we mentioned it on the webinar because it's ready to go. So if you signed up with Reap today, you would have the WhatsApp when your AI is ready. Thanks for the question.
Just one, again, to be determined, this whole geolocation thing, but one basic and simple insight you get is people sending your messages, or the people that you're exchanging messages with will have a phone number, and you have the country code, so you know if they're coming from overseas or if it's a local investor. So that's one out of the box information you get, right? If it's someone from the US, from Brazil, or someone from Mexico.
Good question. Thank you. Any more questions? If not, I want to thank everyone for listening. No problem, Ronaldo. Thank you for listening and understanding. If you want to find out about Reap, you can go to our website, reapapp.io. That's reapapp.io, and you could check out. You can contact us. You guys have my email. As far as implementation of AI, it doesn't take very long. What takes long is the Q&A that we send you, that's probably the longest thing, but in terms of implementation and ingesting, it's done fairly quickly. We could have your profile and AI set up within a few days and have things. And then obviously there's a bunch of testing that we need to do that you also need to do. Okay, so again, a question here, Matt. How strong is the computer security of REAP? I'll let you answer that one as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that question. So we had no incident in the last 7 years. I think that that's one way to start answering this question. Also, we use the same infrastructure as gigantic companies. So we are on AWS. We leverage some of Microsoft's technology as well. So we have the same level of security as those other systems by way of using their infrastructure. What about AI hallucinations? One big thing to avoid the AI hallucination that we've worked on again is by containerizing and saying that these and then training these AI to only use official sources from the company. If you attempt to ask anything that the company didn't provide information on, it will not try to answer and will say, "Thanks for your question. Unfortunately, we don't have information on that. Please contact the investor relations." So there's something with this whole AI technology that you can tweak to make it more or less creative. We have it to be factual and only quoting and using official information. So yeah, it will not hallucinate
Yeah, that's it.
99% of the time.
That's very important because I think that's one of the I think the biggest concerns about public companies is this whole idea of hallucinations because I think when you go into ChatGPT, it's wonderful, and you start asking questions, but then you find out that the information is 25% of the information they say today is hallucination. So, Rolando, as far as prices, I will email you separately on that, and not a problem. I'll send you our pricing structure, but it's pretty basic and extremely affordable. So we're not, we're not going to break anyone's bank. That's for sure. Thanks again, Rolando, for all the questions. Thanks to everyone for attending. I really appreciate it, and we'll be back. Everyone who attend, we'll send the presentation to them so they have it. And if you have any further questions, you have my email. You can again go to the website, use the contact form. But again, we want to thank everyone and really appreciate the time to talk about artificial intelligence, which certainly is something that is really going to continue to accelerate use-wise and do great. We think it's going to do great things. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great week.
Thank you. Bye bye.